It's time for the Half Hour to Health with Dr. Bob and Debbie DeMaria. Call a friend or family member now and let them benefit from today's exciting and informative program. If you want to lead a healthier life, the time is now.
Hello, this is Dr. Bob and Debbie DeMaria with another half hour of health for you. And today, we're going to talk about stress. Stress can happen almost any time of the year. But before we get into the details of that, Dr. Bob's Guide to Stop ADHD in 18 Days. It's so fascinating how the title of a book is so intriguing. The 18 Days is not about Dr. Bob, it's not about Debbie. It's about your body and how your body is restored to natural health and function. But the same principles that are in this book apply to stress, because stress does some very interesting metabolic torpedoing of cell function. So what we're going to be talking about this evening is what you can do to get healthy. You know, Deb, stress is amazing. We've lived through so much in our plus 35 years of marriage, you know, and being married has positive stresses, it has negative stresses.
Right, it does.
Raising children, you know, we've been really blessed with Dr. Anthony and his lovely wife, Kaysen. We have Dominic, so we've gone through the child rearing. You know, we have had parents that have been aging. We just have lived through what everybody else does.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter what time of year it is, but one of the things that happens to us is we go from, there's this pattern. A pattern of life. It's the pattern of the year. So you go into the holiday season, whether it be Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then you get into Super Bowl Sunday, and then you
get into holiday?
Now it is. And then there's Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. You go into the spring, you're into Easter, and you get into the summer holidays, which is Memorial Day and all that. And see, those present stresses. What is it? Because people are interested in partying and what kind of food are we going to eat and who's going to be invited and who's not going to be invited. And it just starts to get us under the tightness of everything. Our body tightens up, our stomach, our digestion is altered. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of women. They hold their stress in their shoulders. Our shoulders become crouched over. But it doesn't matter what period it is that we said. But there are a lot of things that we can do about it. And we're going to talk about that. But I think we need to also talk about the effect that knot in your stomach, the rolling of your shoulders, all of those things present itself a negative to our bodies. And so, Dr. Bob, you've got to start there. I think we should start with our spine. What does it do there?
Well, at the spine, and I want to talk about that pit in the stomach because I think that that is also, people just need to understand that. You know, your brain sits up here. It sits in the skull, and it continues on as the spinal cord. The spinal cord's inside of the spine. So we know the spinal cord's important because it's in this conduit. The conduit's made of a bone. But there's a part of your brain, get a piece of paper and pencil and write this down. I want you to go do a search on it, called the hypothalamus. H-Y-P-O, thalamus. T-H-A-L-A-M-U-S, hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the CEO of your body. It is the one that controls what happens everywhere else. So there's a large nerves that go from the brain down in front of the spine to all the organs and tissues. So Debbie said something that was quite intriguing. You have a pit in your stomach. So your emotional man, thoughts, interface with your physical man. So if you were to think of happy thoughts right now, you could have maybe some butterflies in your stomach, a little bit of nervousness. But if you think of something that could be really stressful, literally what's happening, Deb, is your physiology is changing. So some of you may have loose stools because of stress. You can say, what's a loose stool, Dr. Bob? It means you have like diarrhea and you're going to the bathroom because the brain is impacting what's going on inside of you. You know, when you have a different thought, it's called flight fright. So your adrenal gland starts releasing hormones to get your heart going like there's a lion coming, so you're going to start running really fast. Well, what happens is that muscles can literally tighten up, so you could feel some tension at the base of your neck. So stress, Debbie, can cause a tension headache. So can I share something with you right now? Taking an aspirin or taking some kind of pain killer is managing and treating symptoms, Deb, but it's not getting to the cause of the problem. So in our natural drugless chiropractic practice, if somebody comes in and we do an assessment to them and we give them a spinal correction, I had patients that come in after their very first adjustment. It's like, oh, they just like feel so great. It's awesome.
Well, let me ask you this then, Dr. Bob. So is that headache have any to, you know how people then carry that and they start with those rounded shoulders because they're carrying the weight of the world. Okay, we have another prop that I love is that tension, like right up here, and their posture changes. So is that posture change going to affect their spine?
Well, I can say it's really a good point, Deb, because I think that, you know, you and I exercise on a regular basis, and so if people start slouching over like that, you know, we have at our home, and I would encourage all of you, this would be a great Christmas gift any time of the year, is buy one of those large balls and start laying on the ball, because see, that's going to start reversing what gravity is doing, because see, we know that gravity continually and relentlessly pushes down on top of your spine, and as Debbie has brought up, is that as that spine presses down and puts pressure on sensitive nerves, that could go to your stomach. You have stomach distress because of stress. So
in the stomach distress, okay, would that do anything to your digestion? And
of course it would, because what's happening is that, you know, you could have, you know, there's people watching us right now that maybe they had a meal. And let's say, now we're going to get into some really far out stuff right now, but let's say you happen to be blood type A. Blood type A, they have more digestive distress than blood type O. So let's say you have a burger and you have a bun with that burger. You say, well, Dr. Bob, that's how you have hamburgers. Well, see, the bun is alkaline starch. The burger is acid or animal tissue. You put the two together, you could have digestive distress, Debbie, because remember we talked about that pit in your stomach? So your brain is sending a message down, your stomach stops working because you need blood somewhere else. You just got done having a burger. And what's going to happen is you could start having foul-smelling stool, constipation, diarrhea, just because of stress. You know, 80% of the health problems happening right now to people is because of what you and I just explained, brain, nervous system.
So what happens then? What are some of, you know, like what are the cures that we could do? Or how do we change our feelings? How do we change our emotions? Or what do we do that we're able to handle this stress better?
Well, I think what's so important, we talk about this, and we've talked about this since like over 10 or 12 years right now. Inside of this container is sugar. So if you have a regular stressful environment, you do not want to eat sugar. Because see what the sugar is going to do, I really want you to pay attention to this loop I'm going to give you. When you eat sugar, sugar takes B vitamins out of the body. B vitamins make digestive enzymes. So we know that a very common problem for Debbie that people are under stress is lack of B vitamins. And you know, they have common body signals, as you reminded me about the B vitamins, is that people who don't have enough B vitamins cry easy. So if you make that wise decision, you want to come into our office as a new patient, yes, I'm talking to you, you've been sitting on that couch for years, it's time. If you have stress and you cry easy or sore muscles after exercise and you're eating sugar, I'm going to say this again, your body uses B vitamins, especially thiamine, to make acid for digestion. So Dr. Bob, what did you just say? Stress can cause digestive distress. So if you're crying easily and you're burping and farting and you have stress and you have blood type A, you should come and see us.
But basically you're telling us if we stay away from this, we might be less likely to need digestive enzymes and those type of things, because we'll have the minerals, which are B vitamins, to help combat our feelings. Is that correct?
Well, it's a part of the whole plan, because see what happens is if you don't have enough B vitamins, you have raw nerves. you could be sitting in one room and hear the refrigerator motor in the other room, and you hear all this. You're very noise sensitive. And when you have noise sensitivity, that's a body signal. Once again, you need B vitamins. I think the sore muscle after exercise is quite common too.
Well, there's another thing, Dr. Bob, and this is myself personally. I know that when there is like maybe piled on stress, you know, something happens, then another thing happens, then another thing happens. My mid-back, all right, now I get adjusted, and it's very fortunate that I have chiropractic in my own family. But why is it tend to be the mid-back region that you're getting that type of feeling from stress?
Well, you know, it's a lot of different reasons. Like we're talking about like a whole weave right here.
Okay.
And I think that's the challenge that most people live today, because the medical model as we know it, and we just love everybody, but the medical model as we know it has failed. So that's why people are taking antidepressants. It calms them, you know, taking a nerve pill. Well, physiologically, we know that that's covering up symptoms. But so when you have stress and your nervous system's not working, the muscles are going to get tight. We also know that when the muscles get tight, it's going to compress the bones. We know that the bones are the area where the nerves come out. We know that the nerves, our body works by nervous system function. So if the nerves can't send the messages down, you're going to have a lowered state of health. Because see, the information goes from the brain cell down the tissue cell, an interaction occurs, then a message goes back up. So somebody has chronic digestive distress. It could be because the mid-back vertebra that goes to the stomach could be out of alignment. Their brain could be under stress. They might not have enough minerals in their body. So when you get a spinal adjustment and it gives you relief, what happens is that all that information, once again, is going to flow from the brain cell down to the tissue cell. That's why laying on a ball is so important. That's why avoiding sugar is so important. And I think for ourselves personally, what we do, and I'm going to encourage all of you, this could happen year-round, is you want to exercise regularly. You say, what do you mean regularly? I mean every day. You say, Dr. Bob, it's cold outside. Yeah, I know it's cold outside. So you might want to get a large ball. I'm going to tell you what a wise investment buying a large ball and bounce on it. And I can tell you in our practice what we see is that we have patients that come in that might be overweight, they may be having spinal decay, and if they just start bouncing on the ball alone, that ball bouncing increases mobility and fluid movement, and we have low back pain go away. So Debbie, any kind of activity is better than no activity. So a part of what we do in our practice is that we actually give people specific exercises for their areas of weakness in their spine so their spine starts to function better. So this is just about stress. And we know that 80% of you out there are stressed. So do you cry easy? Do you eat sugar? Do you have digestive challenges? Even your bowels could be impacted because of distress. And so in the next segment, we're going to talk about some other items. You know, this happens to be a very important organ in your body. It's the oil filter, which is the liver. Well, I want you to come right back because I'm going to tell you what emotion affects the liver. And you really want to hear this because this is the most important organ in your body. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Dr. Bob, Anthony, and Kason DeMaria, and I'd like to invite you to join us at our office. We are here to make a difference in your life. We will listen to you. We will listen to every complaint you have and help you make wise choices for your long-term health problems.
I just want to invite everyone to bring their kids into our office because we have so much fun and we know how we can make a difference in impacting not only the kids but also your family, just helping them reach that optimal level of function.
And one of the things that we're blessed to use is some advanced technology with how we go about your care. So we're able to do special thermal imaging of your spine and do motion x-rays. And we're also just able to use some biocommunication devices in order to figure out the best plan of care for your specific case.
So what's going on in our particular practice is that we have high-end technology. We've been skilled, trained, and experienced. We will listen to you. We know that you want wellness. We look at the whole package. We look at the whole person, regardless of whatever you've had done to this point, whether it be surgery, you're on medications. Give us an opportunity to serve you. We have taken care of this area for over 35 years, and we have the expertise to make a difference for you and your family. We have educational material that's available to you. We have material that's available in the form of books and technology. So we'd encourage you, regardless of what you have going on, that you give our office a call today. Let us make a difference for you and your family. And we're also available to speak at your business, your organization, or your church. We love treating families. We love chronic problems. Give us a call today. You'll be glad you did. Hello, this is Dr. Bob and Debbie DeMaria with a continuation of another Half of Health just for you. You know, before we took our break, we talked about this. This is an oil filter, and as the advertisement used to say for this particular brand, pay me now or pay me later. Well, a part of my studies, and I've been practicing since 1978, is I have a Doctor of Natural Health degree. And in those studies, I had to take a variety of classes. One of those classes happened to be on Chinese medicine. And so in the Chinese culture of thinking about healthcare, they place emotions with organs. So the liver has everything to do with anger. And I know some of you watching me right now are angry. And you could be angry because you've chosen foods that compromise liver function. And actually, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're drinking diet soda, which we have seen from our experience and our practice, we take films of our patients, we take x-rays of our patients. I've seen people with very large livers, and then I start communicating about what they're doing. I have seen diet soda triple, quadruple the size of a person's liver. Ask them a question, they drink a lot of diet soda. But getting back to the point at hand, the liver, which is right here in your body, has everything to do with anger. So if you're eating French fries and cookies and you're taking medications that cause liver anger, the word melancholy is black bile. So your liver makes bile. Bile is stored in your gallbladder. So you could have digestive distress that Debbie was talking about earlier in the first segment because the liver is not making the bile adequately, or the bile becomes thick and pasty. So I'm going to throw a concept out to you right now, that stress causes the pH in our bodies, Debbie, to become acid. Acid is like vinegar. We like to have our bodies tend to be a little bit more alkaline, like baking soda. Bile, which is very similar to dish detergent in your body, so bile, which is made in the liver, it's stored in the gallbladder, is alkaline. So you could use up your bile, which is very important because of stress. So if you have digestive distress from eating foods that are fat, like almond butter or peanut butter or avocados or French fries, you can start to see now the whole component is starting together. So I'm going to leave this thought with you, because see, when you have stress, what happens is you have thick, pasty bile. But stress, being acid, takes minerals out of your body, and it loses a lot of zinc. So what I'm holding in my hand now is copper. So when people have stress, they tend to have high copper. When you have high copper and you go to sleep at night, you're laying there with your head and your eyes closed and your brain's going 100 miles an hour because you can't fall asleep because of stress. And there's a gland in your body, Deb, that is impacted by stress.
And I know what that gland is.
Tell everybody, they are waiting with bated breath.
Well, it's the adrenal gland. And you know, the adrenal gland is something that like runs your whole body in the amounts of stress that you can handle. It also, the adrenal is something happens and you need to participate, and it's something like picking a child up from a moving car, and that adrenal gland helps you go out there, pick that child up, and make that action step. When we burn our adrenal glands out, we're not able to make those decisions quick enough. Stress just keeps adding to us. We get very tired, we're lethargic, and you know, I think we just can't stay focused. So what do we do to support our adrenals, Dr. Bob?
Well, I can tell you right now, adrenal fatigue is probably one of the most common dilemmas that people contend with every day. And I know statistically that most of you watching us right now are probably in phase 2 of adrenal gland exhaustion. Phase 1 is just you're maybe a little bit tired and sluggish, but bright light might bother your eyes. And you say, what does that have to do with the adrenal glands? See, your adrenal glands move minerals. Your adrenal gland is like the fuel pump in your body. The thyroid gland is the gas pedal. So when you're under stress, your adrenal gland have like 5 different jobs they have to do. Well, one of the jobs has to do with processing sugar. So if you're dealing with stress and your adrenal gland's exhausted and you're eating sugar, that compounds the stress. So the adrenal glands cause a nervous system in your body called the sympathetic nervous system to speed up. Like Debbie just said, you're going to go grab your kid from a moving car, so you have to move fast to have that happen. Well, your sympathetic nervous system causes the pupils in your eyes to constrict. See, what did you say? My glands here may affect my eyes? Yeah, see, your adrenal glands are a part of the sympathetic nervous system, so you can run in case there's an emergency. But if your adrenal glands are exhausted, your pupils aren't small, they're big. So when somebody comes into our office, Deb, and they have sunglasses on their head, or they're wearing sunglasses, or sunglasses are in their purse, and I see a candy bar in their purse, that means when you make that decision to come in my office, you zip your purse shut, because I'm looking. But if you're wearing sunglasses, I know that they're under stress.
Stress, because bright light bothers their eyes, because their pupils are big, right?
And there are people watching us right now, they're going to say this, Dr. Bob and Debbie, I have been wondering for years what's going on, and they're taking a little bite of their candy bar.
And you know what? It doesn't have to be summertime. They wear sunglasses all the time because any type of light is affecting that.
Now, I'm chuckling right now because sunglasses is a big business.
It is a big business. So are we all under adrenal fatigue?
Do you know I don't even own a pair of sunglasses?
I know you don't.
And when you are constant, so bright light is one. Okay, here's something else. We know that you're stressed when your back goes out easy. When somebody comes in my office and say, oh, Dr. Bob, I was just picking up a piece of paper, my back went out. Well, that's a body signal to me that you have adrenal gland exhaustion. So here's some body signals for adrenal fatigue, okay? Bright light bothers your eyes. You get dizzy from a sit to a stand position. You crave salt. Now, some of you have been to your medical health care provider and you have low blood pressure and they go, yay, we want low blood pressure. No, you don't. You want normal blood pressure. So I know a lot of you have blood pressure cuffs at home. So after we're done with this program, what I want you to do is have someone take your blood pressure while you're sitting down. And then I want you to let that relax, the instrument in your body. And then I want you to take your blood pressure again, but I want you to stand up. And if your blood pressure drops,